From Washington, this is VOA News. U.S. officials say they will not issue a visa to an Iranian choice for the UN. The UN makes an appeal for South Sudan children. I'm Vincent Bruce reporting from Washington. The White House says it will not issue a visa to the man Iran has picked to be its envoy to the United Nations. VOA White House correspondent Luis Ramirez has a report.
It is rare that the U.S. would deny a visa to a UN envoy, but White House spokesman Jay Carney says that is the Obama administration's decision in the case of Iranian envoy Hamid Aboutalebi because of his involvement in the 1979 storming of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. In that takeover, militants held 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. The U.S. Congress has passed a bill directing the president to deny admission to any UN representative who is found to have engaged in espionage, terrorism, and who may pose a threat to U.S. national security interests. Carney did not indicate whether Mr. Obama will sign it. Luis Ramirez, VOA News, at the White House.
The United Nations says a famine in South Sudan likely will kill up to 50,000 children this year if more action is not immediately taken. UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, says an additional 250,000 children will suffer severe acute malnutrition by the end of the year unless treatment is scaled up. It says the African nation has faced emergency levels of malnutrition since it gained independence from Sudan in 2011. Further details on these stories at voanews.com. New research suggests that global poverty figures, which the World Bank defines as people living on less than $1.25 a day, could be underestimated by up to one-third. The World Bank figures are widely used and play a significant role in global strategies to reduce poverty. But critics argue the dollar-a-day poverty standard is too arbitrary and does not take into account many basic human needs. At least 19 militants have been reported killed in two separate incidents in Pakistan's restive tribal areas Friday, the latest clashes in almost a week of infighting between rival Taliban factions. The clashes, the result of a power struggle in the militant group, came at a time when the government is trying to negotiate a peace deal with the Pakistani Taliban. The violence likely will complicate those efforts. Ukraine's acting Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk has offered concessions to regional leaders and the pro-Russian protesters after Kiev's deadline passed for separatists to vacate state buildings they had seized.
I do believe that we need to tackle this problem only in a peaceful manner. But we've made an offer. They are to leave the premise of the state administration, to be disarmed, and we as the state of Ukraine can guarantee them that they won't be detained or arrested. But it's up to them to decide.
In the city of Donetsk, where Yatsenyuk and other top Ukrainian government officials met Friday with Eastern Ukrainian governors and mayors, Yatsenyuk said he supported amending Ukraine's constitution and changing laws so that regional governors and their administrations are no longer appointed by the central government. In stocks in the U.S. Friday, down numbers across the board. Dow Jones Industrials down 143 points. NASDAQ down to 4,000, down 54 points for the day. And the S&P 500 at 1,816, down 17. Retired General James Thurman, a former commander of the United States Forces Korea, says he does not believe North Korea has the ability to conduct a threatened new form of nuclear test. Pyongyang, in late March, declared it would not rule out a new form of nuclear test if the United States and South Korea did not cancel planned military exercises. This week, South Korea warned that its neighbor will suffer unimaginable consequences if it goes ahead with such a test. General Thurman told VOA Korean Service Friday that if Pyongyang does conduct another test, it will likely be similar to its 3 previous tests. Australian authorities say they are confident that underwater signals detected in the search for the missing Malaysian jetliner are from the airplane's black box recorders. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott told reporters in Shanghai Friday that search crews looking for the plane have narrowed down that patch of Indian Ocean where they are searching for the sounds, but he added the search for the airplane is not yet over. Pings consistent with a flight data recorder have been detected by an Australian ship that is using a U.S. naval device to detect black boxes. More on all of these stories 24 hours a day at our website, voanews.com. I'm Vincent Bruce, VOA News, reporting from Washington.